Hi, this is Matt with AppliancePartsPros.com. Today we'll be showing you how to repair your appliance. Remember, anytime you work on an appliance, make sure it's unplugged or the circuit breakers are off so there's no chance of electrocution. In this video we're going to show you how to change out the GE Cooktop Indicator Light. It's going to be a very easy repair and should only take a few minutes to show you how to do it. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can click on the link below or get it at AppliancePartsPros.com. When you open up the package, you're going to get the new indicator light. The indicator light is located underneath the glass cooktop and it tells you when one of the elements is powered on. The main reason to be changing it is if it failed and it isn't coming on when the element is on. In order to remove the cooktop from the counter, we have to go underneath and look for any brackets that might be holding it down. Depending upon the make, the model, or the type of counter it's actually mounted in, you're actually going to have to go underneath and look and see what type of brackets you have and take them out so we can pull the cooktop out. Also, if you're going to take your cooktop to another location to work on it, you have to disconnect the power cable. Usually these 240 volt units are hardwired into the house, so you have to make sure your circuit breakers are off and disconnect the power. Our brackets are mounted right here. Yours may be elsewhere. Make sure you check all four sides of the cooktop to make sure you get them all. Once you have the screw out, you can bend the bracket down so you can pull it out with the cooktop. Now we can do the bracket on the other side. Same as the other side, when you have the screw out, we can bend the bracket down so we can pull the cooktop out. Now that we have the brackets disconnected from underneath the cooktop, we're ready to lift it up. The cooktops are usually sealed in with some sort of foam tape, and depending upon how many years it's been there and been sticking to the countertop, you may or may not be able to lift it up. So you can try to open up the door and push up from the bottom to see if it's going to lift up. If not, you may have to take a razor blade or a putty knife and carefully go around the cooktop, making sure you don't scratch the counter, and get all that tape cut so you can lift the cooktop up. We're just going to work on ours right here. If you're taking yours somewhere else, obviously you're going to support it differently, but we're going to lift it up and support it on these sticks. Once you have one side up, you can come around and pick the other side up and slide the other stick in. Now that we have it supported, we can take it apart to work on it. First thing we're going to do is take off the knobs. They're not held on by anything, so all you have to do is lift them off and set them aside. Now that we have the knobs off, we can use our Phillips screwdriver and remove all the screws that hold the top to the chassis. Now that we have the screws out, we can take the top off. There's usually some tape that goes between the glass and the chassis. If it's stuck, you can use a putty knife to help break it free. You want to go all the way around. Once you get it all broken free, you want to carefully lift up on the glass top. Make sure that all the shafts come out of the grommets, and then you can set it aside. With the cooktop out of the way, we have to open up this box right here where all the switches are mounted. There's 3 screws, one on each side. We're going to use our 1/4 inch nut driver to take them out. With the screws out, the console is ready to be lifted up, but first we're going to take this element and lift it off its mounting posts and just carefully swing it out of the way. You don't want to lay it on top of the other element, but just get it out of the way so when we lift this up, it doesn't hit the element. Once you have the element out of the way, all you have to do is swing this console up so we have access to the parts underneath. Now that we have the console up, we're going to swing this wire harness out of the way so you can see it. The indicator light is right in the center. We're going to take the wires off. Sometimes they're on there tight, so you use a small screwdriver if you have to. All you have to do is pop them off. The double red is on the top, and the double yellow is on the bottom. Once you have the wires off, we're going to lower the console down. And then to release the indicator light, we're just going to press these tabs in on each side. and then press the indicator light through, and we can get it from the other side. Here's the old indicator light next to the new one. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can get it at appliancepartspros.com. To put the new indicator light in, we're going to lift up the console again and snap it into place. Once you have it in, we can reconnect the wires. Remember, the double yellow one was on the bottom. And the double red one was on the top. Make sure you press them down so you get a good connection. Once you have the wires reconnected, we can lower the console down and put the screws back in. With the console put back in, we can swing this element back over into place, and all you have to do is set it onto the two posts. Once you have the element back in place, we can put the glass cooktop back on. Our cooktop has this clear tape that goes around the top of the metal frame, a little insulator between the glass and the metal. If yours is torn or damaged, you want to peel the tape off and replace it with a new piece. This clear tape comes on a roll from GE. Make sure you check all four sides of your cooktop and replace any that looks bad. Just want to line it up with the edge of the metal and press it down into place. And then we can trim the ends off once we have it laid down. Now that we checked the tape and replaced any that needed to be replaced on the cooktop body, we have to put a new piece of foam tape around the outer edge of the glass top to seal it to the countertop. There is a bunch of residue on there, so we want to go around the whole edge and remove all this residue so we get the new tape stuck on there really good. Once you have all the residue cleaned off, we're going to lay the tape out and get the approximate size we need. You want to go pretty much up to the edge, but you don't want to overlap any of the corners. And then once you have the length, you can cut it, take the sticky stuff off, the white backing, and stick it down to the glass. You don't want to stretch the foam tape as you put it on because it stretches very easily. You just want to kind of tap it down with your finger, and once you get it all the way across, if you end up with a little bit too much, you can always just trim it off. Remember, when you put the two edges together, you just want to make sure that you press them together and get a connection right there, but you don't want to overlap the tape and make it too thick. Just want to make sure they're together and kind of watertight as much as possible. Then you can lay it out the rest of the way. Once you have it down, you can go along the length again and press it down. Now that we have the tape all the way around, we can put the glass top back on the cooktop. To put the glass cooktop on, you're going to set it down and get it close, and you want to look through these little grommet holes and line up the infinite shafts. Once you have the two closest to you in there, you can kind of let it drop down and you'll see all the shafts come through the grommets. Once you have it on, you can push it down all the way around, and then we can go and put in the screws that hold it together. Now that we have the glass top reinstalled, we can put the knobs on. The burner knobs all go on the same way. There's a little tab right here that you have to line up with the shaft right here and then push it on. The last two selector knobs have a D-shaped shaft, so you want to make sure that you match up the flat on the knob with the flat on the shaft and then push it on. Now that we have the knobs on, we can put the cooktop back on the counter. If you want to get somebody to help you at this point, you can, but we're going to lift up the cooktop and pull out the support sticks and set it down into the counter. Once you have it in the hole, you can make sure it's straight and go underneath and finish connecting everything. To put the bracket back on, we're just going to bend it back over and put the screw in. Now we can put the bracket in on the other side. We're going to lift it up and put the screw in. Now that we have the cooktop remounted, we can turn the circuit breakers back on and make sure it starts to heat. Thanks for joining us for another successful repair brought to you by AppliancePartsPros.com. Check out our other repair videos on our site, Facebook, and YouTube.